4516 with the speech, The King's Gambit.
As a pastor's kid, my parents loved teaching me right from wrong through Bible stories. One of my favorites is the judgment of wise King Solomon. It's a story about a baby caught in an Old Testament custody battle between two women who both claim to be the mother. Sadly, they didn't have the Maury Povich show back then, so King Solomon had to MacGyver a maternity test on the spot. Solomon's solution? Slice the baby in half for the baby mamas to share. This ultimately forced each woman to decide between her compassion for the child and her will to win. And baby mama number one was like, bet. I'm down. While the other mother was like, that's murder. She can have my baby. And with that selfless act of a mother's love, King Solomon looked at baby mama number one and said, you are not the mother. Likewise, it seems America is caught in a similar tug of war today, where kids have become a means to an end. Much like a game of chess, we children are often exploited as sacrificial pawns to protect those in power. Whether it's banning drag shows, altering accurate history, or eliminating access to healthcare, bad faith leaders use protect the children rhetoric as a Trojan horse for discrimination in an attempt to gain and maintain power. And I'm worried that if we, the people, continue to fall for this gambit, it'll be checkmate for all of us. As journalist Ben Beckett explains, our leaders' professed desire to protect children disappears when faced with anything that might actually endanger them. Our policies are protecting the king, not the kids. So, congregation, may I take you to church today? All right, let's go. And first, understand why children are used to bait us into bad faith policies. Then, examine the dangers of doing so. Before finally, maneuvering a counter-gambit that actually protects children. So why is the Protect the Children mantra so effective? Kirk Waldruff of the American Psychological Association explains, if there were an actual political playbook, fear tactics would occupy a prime real estate. Simply put, fear works, especially when it comes to children. We would do everything in our power to ensure the safety of children. But too often, bad faith leaders prey on people's justified fears in order to amass power. The strategy consists of two steps. One, they must identify a problem, like children are being taught to hate America. And then two, present themselves as the sole solution, like eliminating AP African American history. And that's how we take the bait, hook, line, and sinker. And our history shows we famously fall for it. When the landmark case Brown v. Board of Education ruled segregation in schools unconstitutional, white parents feared for their children. Because, could you imagine learning algebra next to her? Oh, no thank you. And so, those in power offered themselves as a solution. In 1957, Arkansas Governor Orval Faubus ordered the National Guard to block 9 high school students, known as the Little Rock Nine, from integrating Central High School. Duke University professor of public policy Nancy McLean furthers that during the 50s and 60s, politicians touted school choice in order to preserve racial segregation, or in their words, preserve the safety of their children. And today is no different. Montana Governor Greg Gianforte attempted to ban Drag Queen Story Hour to protect the psychological well-being of children. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee banned critical race theory in schools to prevent students from feeling discomfort or anguish. Time and time again, the protect the children rhetoric has proven to be effective. But it begs the question, which children are we actually protecting? Because as the parable of the lost sheep shows us, when even just one little lamb strays from the flock, the shepherd must leave the fold to ensure its safety. But accepting bad faith arguments erodes what few protections we do have in place. The Search Institute found that children who have access to a trusted, non-family adult are less likely to engage in risky behavior and have increased levels of overall well-being. And for many of us, that trusted adult is a teacher or a coach. This past school year, when hosting a speech tournament at his school in Oklahoma, Coach Billy Ellis complied with the state law to designate a gender-neutral bathroom. But when a disgruntled parent voiced a complaint, the issue escalated all the way to the state Senate. As a result, Mr. Ellis informed me in our interview that he was suspended for safety reasons, ultimately leaving the teaching profession altogether. I'm sorry, but ushering an educator out of the profession to which he was called protects nobody, especially the children who need him. But what's most disheartening is that bad faith leaders stay silent when faced with actual threats to children, leaving us kids to fend for ourselves. As Miami Herald journalist Nancy Ankrum argues, bad faith legislation allows lawmakers to hide behind the claim that they are helping children, when in fact, they're just helping themselves. Politicians claim to protect children, yet 400,000 kids are trapped in a failing foster care system. The Center for Public Integrity reports that more than half of Congress are millionaires, yet 9 million children live below the poverty line, and 12 million will go hungry today. Politicians vow to prioritize the safety of America's youth. Yet there have been 33 school shootings this school year, 31,780 children murdered in school shootings over the past 2 decades, and only one piece of gun reform legislation in the past 30 years. Their oath was never to us. They swore to protect their power and position, even if it reduces children to casualties of corruption. Our situation feels a bit like David, battling an insurmountable giant, But there are things we can do. First, we have to learn to discern between good faith and bad faith policies by evaluating their impacts. It's like judging a debate round. For example, in Minnesota, after 121,000 children experienced food insecurity last year, Governor Tim Walz passed the free school meals bill to ensure no child in the state goes to bed hungry. The policy targeted a pressing issue and had a positive impact on those affected. Contrastingly, in my home state of Florida, House Bill 1557 prevents the discussion of sexual orientation in K through 12 schools to, quote, protect children and support parents. Yet the Williams Institute reports that 13% of Florida's LGBTQ youth have expressed concerns about their future in the state, and 56% of LGBTQ parents have considered moving. A bill promising to protect children intentionally alienates the over 114,000 LGBTQ youth, a disturbingly negative impact on children and their families. Second, it's time for us kids to turn up. Okay, but not like that. Turn Up is a free social activism app that allows you to connect and strategize with over 4,000 youth organizers around the nation in order to enact change in your community. If you download the app, you'll find resources ranging from how to start a grassroots movement to advocating for accurate history curriculum in schools. It's time to dethrone the king so that the will of the people can be heard, and so our children can grow up in a society where they feel safe, where they flourish, where they grow up. Besides the story of King Solomon, the story I love the most is the one about my namesake, Queen Esther, who saved the Jewish people of Persia from an impending massacre using her beauty and influence. I guess some things never change. But most importantly, Esther used her queen status to advocate for the vulnerable, which is why it is imperative for those of us with access to the ballot box, we vote in leaders that prioritize children over power. If we wish to end the King's Gambit, it starts with me. It starts with you. So, with that revelation in mind, let's write a new testament. And let the church say, Amen. Amen.